Hello, for this tutorial, we're going to talk about how to create windows and doors using one-point perspective. Um, when you're working with the one-point perspective, you have to remember that everything goes vertically, horizontally, or it goes to the vanishing point. At this point, there's no other way that a line can go, and just try to get those three rules in your head. It's vertical, it's horizontal, or it goes to the vanishing point. And so on this back wall here, if we were to create a door or a window, it would be really easy because if you look, the back wall is just horizontal and vertical. All the lines around that are just horizontal and vertical. So it's really easy for me here just to create those lines and make a door and a window. However, if you try to do the same thing over here on the side, that doesn't quite look right. If you put a window over here that just looks like that, it's just not right. It looks like it's popping out at you instead of going back into the distance like the walls do here on the side. You look at the top and the bottom of the walls and they go to the vanishing point. So to create a door, what you need to do is hold your shift key down with the line, not the rectangle, and you're just going to make a vertical line that goes straight down. From there, you're going to use your perspective lines. You're going to do a line that goes across the top right there, and then a line that goes straight down using, again, my shift key so I can get that nice vertical line. After that, I want to erase away, and I know sometimes this is a bit of a pain to have to do all this erasing, but it's really, really worth it. You got to make sure that you use that vanishing point, because if you don't, people will know, and you don't want them to think that you did something wrong just because you were a little bit too lazy to use your vanishing point. Make sure you're using that, okay? As I'm working, I don't worry about erasing away completely because I'll do all that later. I want to make sure that all that stuff is done later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm also going to create a window. A window over here is created the exact same way. It's just going to be shorter. So here's my window. It's a vertical line, vanishing point, and another vertical line. So there's lots of different things that you can do with these. These are very, very basic. But if you look at doors in real life, you can see that they have things like, instead of doing a fill, I'm going to do no fill here. They have things like a border around them, which is called molding. So you might want to add molding to your doors and your windows, because that's going to make it look a lot more realistic as you're working on your room. So you could add that. It's a little bit more in the ones on the sides, but believe me when I tell you, it's really worth it, because that's what makes your rooms look really, really nice. So this is the way I erase as I'm working. I just kind of get rid of the lines for the most part, and just so that I don't get confused. And then I can add more molding. And so those are going to look a little bit more real. So what you can do if you wanted to do things like put panes in your windows, if you wanted window panes, so you can give yourself some guidelines. You can do this where you create an X. Now I know I said that all lines either go vertical, horizontal, or go to the vanishing point, but what happens is I'm going to erase these lines. These are just guidelines for me so that I can find the middle, because if you create that and you find the middle, you can go in here and you can make a grid line here. Might be a little bit too big. Oh, now what did I do? Hit Control Z. If something is not quite right for me, I hit Control Z. And that makes it much, much easier. And then I can go over here and I can make another grid line. It goes right in the middle. So if it wasn't right there, I could also use my arrow keys here just to nudge that in and make that just right for me. And I can also create that way. The cool thing is that when you use that method, it also works on these side walls. So if you wanted to find the middle of this window, this X works the exact same way, and it's going to show you right where that middle should be, because it's really hard to find it when you're just working on your own, trying to figure out where that middle is going to be. Now remember, I hit my shift key to get that nice and straight. It's worth it to hit the shift key. Please make sure that you're doing that. You don't want to spend a lot of time going back and forth and trying to get that thing nice and straight. You just hit that shift key. It's really, really easy. So that way you can find the middle of the window or any other thing there. So have fun drawing your windows and doors. Remember, you can be really creative with it. It doesn't have to be a standard window or door. So if you come up with something that's a little bit more creative, that's absolutely fine. But this is the standard way to do windows and doors.